Oh, I just ate a great big bowl of carnivore chili. So I don't know if I can get through this or not, but we're going to try. Well, if you guys would have watched this morning's video, I wouldn't have had to put up another video tonight. In fact, this video was scheduled to go up on my other channel. But since you didn't watch this morning's video, here we are, doing it again. I gave up some income, man. Y'all got to watch my videos. This ain't going to fly. But I got a good one for you. Well, I've always said that the worst human trait was greed. And it's bad. It's pretty bad. But I don't believe it is the worst. Because this one helps create greed. And what I'm talking about is hate. H-A-T-E. Hate. And we see a lot of that today. More than we've seen ever before. And there's a lot of interesting things about hate. Now, I haven't looked up the definition of hate, but I would guess it would say the extreme dislike of an object, of a person, of a group, something to that effect. We have plenty of hate in this country. We have plenty of hate around the world, and we've always had it. We've had hate as far back as it's as far back in the Bible as you can go. And humans are the only species, just like greed. Okay, we got a wasp coming over here. I'll get you, man. Don't even think about it. I'll swat you down like. Do I hate that wasp? You know what? I'm acting like I do. I'm ready for it though. I don't hate you, wasp, but I don't want to get bit, stung. Where was I? Oh yeah. We are the only species that practice hate, and mostly in mammals. You know, you might think other animals hate each other, but what they're doing is using their instincts. They are practicing survival. Even primates will attack other groups of different primates, but that's for survival. They don't hate them, but they're doing it for territory, for survival. It's just their instinct. And humans are born with instinct, but we're not born with hate. When a baby is born, I did this tape. Babies just cry when they're hungry, for when they need warmth, and for comfort. Hate is learned. Okay, I wonder if babies are capable of hearing things in the womb. They say they are. But I think what they hear begins their learning journey as early as that. Now you could take a puppy, you could take a 6-week-old puppy and a 6-week-old kitten, and you could put them together in a box. And what do you think's going to happen? They're going to look at each other, sniff each other, and then within a minute, one will go swipe at with the other, and the other will swipe the other, and they'll become friends and they'll play. And if you leave those two together without any influence of any other dogs or any other cats, they will just know each other as friends, and they always will be friends. Now, there was a case where, where there was a lion, a lion cub in a zoo, and a little weenie dog got into the pen, and they were afraid, you know, the lion was going to kill it. Well, they became friends. And then when the male lion got huge and grown up, they were afraid for the dog, and they took the dog out, and they were afraid the lion was going to kill the dog. Well, because it's a lion, you know. And so after they took it out, the lion quit eating. It was depressed. They didn't know what to do. So they ended up putting the dog back in with this full-grown male lion, and he hadn't eaten in a while. So you would think instinct would kick in, and he would eat that dog because he was hungry. Needed a little weenie dog. Nope. He came out of his depression. They were playing, and not only that, they added another dog in there. The lion didn't harm that either. They were best friends. It's the same as if you were to take human babies. Babies don't know what color is. They don't know what race is. If you put a Chinese baby and a black baby and a white baby and a Mexican baby all in the same playpen, they're going to play. They're going to play together. And we're talking babies that are old enough, you know, they can crawl around and walk, maybe under 1 year old. They don't question, why is this one darker than me? Why does this one look different than me? They're just going to play because they're kids. Now, in the animal world, if a adult leopard was to attack an adult zebra, and each of those were female, both of them were females, and the one had a little baby zebra, and the leopard had a cub. I guess you call them a cub. I don't know what a baby leopard is. A leopard baby. And they were roughly the same age. And the leopard goes and attacks the zebra, but before it finishes off the zebra kicks it in the head, and the leopard later dies from a head injury. The zebra dies from its injuries that the leopard inflicted. If those two babies, the jaguar and the zebra baby, are together, it's the same thing. They're just gonna look at each other. They haven't learned their instincts yet. They kind of have them, but they haven't learned how to act on them. They haven't been taught. But humans have to be taught how to hate. And hate comes from cultural conditioning. It comes from family attitudes, propaganda, trauma, and repeated negative experiences. You have to have those things in order to develop hate. So if you're a child and you're at a very young age, you are exposed to television shows, and we all know what they are, how bad those can be. If you're exposed to those things, you see this hate with the violence that you see on TV. You see all these things. If you were to never expose a child, you know how a child can be, maybe 3 years old, 4 years old, and he didn't get in his way and he hits you, he tries to slap you or hit you. Well, they would never learn those things if they hadn't seen it. They have to be taught violence. They have to be taught hate. And I know it could probably be next to impossible to isolate them from those things. But parents don't think of this. They need to explain to their kids right from the very beginning that when they can understand you, that this is all make-believe. And even then, it's bad. Look at video games. These kids are playing these violent video games all day, and the whole message is hate. I've never played any of these modern ones, but I used to sell them in the pawn shop, and I know what they're, and you have to test them. So I see, and I've watched young people come in there and play them. I see what they are, and the language and everything else. But only humans, they teach that. They teach hate. They teach you to despise certain groups, certain types of people. And that creates, and that creates the greed. It creates all the negative experiences we have as human beings. And we're the only species. The only species. Now, you find me a species that you can prove that hate each other. Now, they say that elephants remember things. So if a couple of rhinos wandered into some elephants, and poked them and ran, well, the elephants are going to remember that because they got the memory of an elephant, right? Yeah. I know that we're never going to get rid of hate, because hate begins the minute a child is born. It's passed down generation to generation, and hate is getting so bad now. You got one race hates the other race. You got one country hates the other country. And when you get that, you get wars. When you get wars, you get a lot of death. So the best way to start is making sure your kids are not exposed to this hate. And I see some horrendous things that parents do in front of their kids, certain language they use in front of their kids. I heard minor cuss words from my parents growing up, but I never heard the F word. I never heard any vulgar cussing coming from my parents. So, yes, when I went to school, that's when I was exposed to that. I can almost tell you the first time I heard the F word. It was in elementary school. I don't think it was probably the second or third grade. One of the kids said it to the teacher and got pulled out by his ear. And fortunately, I had another kid explain to me. And, you know, what's a kid know what that means? A kid doesn't know what that means. He said, it's just a real bad word. If I said that in front of my family, I'd be in trouble. So I made sure I didn't ever say that word. But us kids used them because we were exposed to those things. You know, a lot of the movies that they go watch are violent. Even shows like The Wizard of Oz, okay? Those are exposing your kids to hate. I know you're thinking, oh, come on, kids got to watch The Wizard of Oz. I'm just saying it's that simple. The Wicked Witch hated Dorothy because Dorothy killed her sister. That was hate. You were teaching hate. And that was maybe the only part in the movie that was hate, but there was hate in the movie. There's hate in just about every movie that you could ever put in. Even cartoons, the Roadrunner and the Coyote, Wile E. Coyote. Roadrunner hated him, but he had fun toying with him too, didn't he? What would the Roadrunner do all day if he finally ended the life of the Coyote? And I don't think that any of that's ever going away. It's too late for that. It's just too late for that. But you don't have to have your child growing up to hate. And maybe if enough parents or single parents taught this or didn't teach hate, you know, they can translate the slightest thing. If you're driving down the road and a song comes on the radio and your little stinking junior is back there. He just pooped his pants too, by the way. You're going to need to change that. But if he's back there and a song comes on the radio and, you know, and the minute it comes on, you're like, oh, I hate that song. He's going to learn that. He's going to learn that kind of behavior. And I guarantee you, you know how kids are. Within a month, if not a week, there'll be a song comes on and he'll go, oh, I hate that song. Or the next time that song that you hated comes on, he's going to mock what you did. So he has learned how to apply that hatred to that certain song. So now every time he hears that song, he's going to hate it. And then he's going to investigate who sings it. He might see a video, who sings it. He ain't going to like them either. So you've just created a hate situation for your kid. Didn't even know it, did you? Just by saying, I hate that song. I never thought of it that way. My mom hated a lot of songs. She didn't like my Black Sabbath album and took it away from me. Poor Ozzy. I tell you. All right, guys. I guess it's a very short one. Watch this one, okay? Otherwise, I'm going to have to go on welfare or something. All right? Happy trails.